Hey everybody, it's John from the Chainwax Podcast. How's it going out there? I hope everybody's enjoying the spring weather that's finally here. And just got done with a little session on the trainer bike outside just to get my legs going first thing in the morning. That's now my new thing, just to get up and spin 15 minutes, just get going. I think that'll make a huge difference in my enjoyment out there on the mountain bikes. We've got some hero dirt today. It rained a couple days here. Everything's nice and dust is down. And I'm going to be resuming the UberClear testing, final testing on the final version of the product. I've done plenty of testing on the original versions, which got incredible mileage. The problem was two things. Problem was it was very hard to get it out of the bottle because it was so thick. It had to be, 70 degrees at least to flow properly, which here it's not a problem for me, but I wanted to make sure it would work all around the country and all around the world, basically. So the formula has been changed slightly to adapt to that, but it hasn't changed the properties of its longevity. Now, one of the customers was getting 500 miles per application on it on an e-road bike, basically riding around on bike paths. So there's a huge bike path network up in Valencia. They have bridges that go over the street. You basically never have to use a crosswalk out there. And I've ridden the whole thing. It's pretty extensive. It's probably about, well, if you add the section that goes out to Saugus, it's a very long bike path, probably about 25, 30 miles of bike path out there, something like that. So anyway, that original formula, first iteration, on a very clean environment with, this is an e-bike, by the way. So putting out some pretty decent watts, I'd say it'd be the equivalent of somebody putting out between 150 and 250 watts on average. So that was some pretty good mileage on that. And anyway, it's still going to get similar mileage, that's for sure. Nothing's changed to take away from that. So that's the new improved UberClear. We haven't changed anything to any of the products in quite a long time. Darkmatter still original, completely the same. But the UberClear has gone through a couple of, well, I didn't release it. I was releasing the original formula the whole time until this second version of it. It flows out of the bottle better, and I think you'll like it very much the same with the easier application added to it. Got a neat little letter today. Let's see. It says, talking about the 5311, I'm glad you like the 5311 so much. And he says, I love that stuff. I sold my Silka setup. I mentioned you in the comments on YouTube videos when they're talking about chain waxing and urge people to try your stuff because it's amazing. So this guy, John, has been a repeat customer now for about 6 months. And he has sold his Silka setup, which is, I think that's great. I mean, yeah, you could have used it to wax your wife's legs or your own, but that's what those pots originally were. I really can't believe the deception in the marketing that they did on that one.
Box. Open this tab and kind of flip it up. Today we are unboxing the awesome new Silka chain waxing system. This is really the first system specifically designed just for hot melt chain waxing. Let's go ahead and...
Okay, so that was a big stretch there. So, here's the Silka pot. You can see it's got the digital gauge and the on button in the middle, plus and minus on the temperature. And there's another picture of it right there. You can see the lid, the little, and then here's the same exact pot on Alibaba for $22. And here's a white one for $21. Okay, same button, same thing, same design, same lid.
Purposed for chain waxing, which is where this bad boy. Fun fact with these, they weren't actually designed for chain waxing. And fun fact with these, they weren't actually designed for chain waxing. They actually came from waxing pots that were mass produced for the beauty salon industry. And then they were repurposed for chain waxing, which is where this bad boy comes in.
And so now they want to sell you the $250 pot instead of the $150 pot. And this time they promise it really was designed for chain waxing. Okay. $21 on Alibaba. Last day for this sale, guys. $21.94. Get that, you might as well get a bigger one here. It's a double one from Vivor, $35.99 at Target. Okay, so it's got all your temperature controls. If you want to do that, you know, I mean, it's like, I think if you do that, this will at least save you quite a bit of money, about $65 on the cost of the pot, and you'll have two of them. But of course, this is going to cost you a ton to fill it. Now, you can come up with your own wax blends. You can buy candles and put them in there, and those are, well, they're not that expensive anymore either now, you know. And then the commercial wax that you would really buy to make a blend is very expensive now too. So you have to be, you know, now it's a situation where you have to be buying in large bulk quantities to get these ingredients at a decent price. I mean, you know, you could buy some modifiers and it would last you the rest of your life and then some. But yeah, so anyway, if you're into doing that and checking out OzCycle, he'll give you all the different formulas that he uses, and he gets pretty good results. But it still is a lot of work taking the chain off, cleaning it, and doing all the things you need to do. Technically, you could use one of the pots to clean it. Will it get that clean? Clean enough, I suppose. The problem is that any dirt that is left in the chain will be locked into the first layer of wax right next to your metal. So it'll have a hard time shedding away once you put it in the clean wax and seal it in, sort of, you know, you're sort of sealing it in pretty good with a coat of paint of the new wax, and all that stuff is just trapped right next to your chain where you don't want it, instead of on the outside. On the flip side, our process of staying clean for the whole ride, the dust is on the outside, and if you do rinse off your chain, most of it will come off. The only dust that sticks is so fine. It's down to under 0.5 microns usually. You're not going to see big chunks on there. You're going to see fine talcum powder sized dust. Well, out here, the dust is clay, and clay is ceramics. Ceramic pot, clay pot, same thing, different name. So basically that dust that's that fine is actually harmless. They use clay to buff out paint jobs on cars. I realized this developing the product. I went, you know, the dust I'm trying to battle is really what they use to polish paint jobs on cars. You know, like it's not an abrasive at all. It's a polishing agent. So I realized, well, if I can just make the chain lube work with the dust, well, then the problem's solved. So basically, the big chunks don't stick. The little fine powder that you might see under a magnifying glass on your chain at the end of a ride, it's harmless. It's actually, chain lube's designed to work with it. Okay? Yeah, I've been saying that back for a long time in the manner I just did. So the Lubenschleiden original bike park formula here on the right side. This was our first no crockpot formula. This was designed with exactly what I said in mind, to work with the dust. Most of it will pass through the chain with its low build formula. Anything that's left just gets encapsulated, and if it's big enough, it'll shed away, which is going to be next to nothing. But all that little fine, ultra fine powder you might see, that, like I said, it's usually ceramic dust on these trails. And it's not harmful. Anything that's beyond ceramic, like say granite dust, it's so fine, it really isn't a big creator of chain wear, and I've the trails I ride, they're either the clay dust or the decomposed granite dust, and don't see any difference at the end of the ride. Don't see any difference in chain wear on bikes that I have a bike that I only ride at like Rocky Peak where it's all that kind of dust, and there's some clay on the downhills, but most of the dust is on the fire roads is all that granite dust. But I digress. The thing is that this stuff was designed to work with the dust. Nobody's come up with a formula that is successful at this yet. Most chain companies and chain lube companies with their newest products, with all the marketing behind them, tell you clean the chain after every ride, and a lot of them disclose that it doesn't really, repel the dust at all. Most of these chain lubes just attract dust like a. I just want to add that, having the chain lube repel the dust is the main thing that's going on with our product, especially the 5311, the Formula 1.2. These are the analog bike formulas, primarily, and then we have the Darkmatter here, which is for e-bikes, high torque formula, and it looks like the Uberclear is doing a great job. The new improved Uberclear is doing a great job of repelling the dust as well. So we've got pretty mild weather right now. It's in the 60s and 70s, and the dust is really low. We just had some light sprinkles. So when end of summer comes, that's when, the tried and true products for the dust out here is the Formula 5311 or 1.2 if you're on an analog bike and you're just sort of a casual rider. It's a little less expensive. And then the Formula 5311 is our racing formula. Both of these repel the dust better than anything I've seen. Better than Squirt, better than anything else that I've used. Squirt, my chain turns a light tingy brown color. If any bit of the wax is on the outside of the chain, it just absorbs it like a sponge. And it doesn't shed it away on the outside. It just sort of sits there. Then you put another coat on and it builds up, and it has this you can see the dirt in the wax. The wax turns like a brown, like a chocolate milk brown. So that's not ideal for the looks. And, for Darkmatter, touching on the application, you're going to put just like a drop of roller. If you want it to look super clean, this is very dark. That's why it's called Darkmatter. And it is, there's other products that are dark too. Like I know Ceramic Speed has their stuff. Absolute Black has their stuff. These things are very dark colored chain lubes, meant to go inside the rollers and then a little bit in between the plates too. And then inevitably there's going to be a little bit on the outside, even using the application brush. So the technique to get the outside of the chain super clean would be to, once you've applied it and it's set up for a few minutes, you can clean the application brush or use like a separate toothbrush and just run it dry on the outside to kind of pick up anything that's on the outside plates. You don't really need to lubricate the outside plates, but you do want the corrosion protection. So all of our products have corrosion protection. So just a very thin film of it on the outside, even if you can't see it, as long as it was there and you wiped it off, it's going to leave a little bit of the wax there for corrosion protection, and the ingredients that are in the lube for corrosion protection. And that's another thing I wanted to say about the crockpot stuff. If you do candles and modifiers and do this yourself, you're not going to have any corrosion protection. Your chain, most people's wax chains rust. So that's a huge problem if you do it yourself, to figure out how to do the modifiers to do that, and the blends of waxes you need to make it stick, and there's just a bunch of little things that took a long time to figure out. That's some stuff that's in my chain lubes. The chain lubes that I make and sell and bottle here, these formulas won't work in a crock pot, just so you know. These are designed specifically to work at room temperature, These wouldn't work in a crock pot at all. So the Uber Clear is designed to be the clear finish top off. It does have some carbon in it. So it's just about, it's about putting it on at the right rate to get the coverage on on the entire chain, but then leaving a clear film on the outside is what that's what I think most people want, and is desirable to have the chain look clean in appearance. So using dark matter can build up, just like any other dry lube will build up if you're not careful putting it on. So, I was watching a video. The guy was talking about how OCD he is about putting lube on. This guy was a road cyclist talking about anal retentive and stuff like that about his bike maintenance. And I get it. I like my bikes to look good. If you've seen other videos, I've shown my bikes. They're they look brand new. And some of my trail bikes are now, I can't believe it, they're 2018. I can't believe they're 8 years old. They ride like they're brand new. And then I've got some ones from 2021, but I'm done buying bikes. The truth is, they haven't made any improvements at all since around that time. I think the carbon thing took off in around 2015 in mountain bikes, and my 2018 bikes and my 2019 and 21 bikes are all, they're not making anything much different. Now they do some suspension tweaks and stuff, and everything's about a degree slacker on the head tube, which I don't necessarily want that. If I wanted a degree slacker, I could just put a one of those, what is it? I think, I know King Creek makes one. I think Chris King makes one. These Wolf Tooth makes one. These headset adjustment, slack headset adjustment headsets, they're like $100 or maybe 150. But if I wanted a slacker head tube, I could just spend $150 and get that. I don't need to buy a new bike because of it. And honestly, nothing has really changed. I just saw the new Fox 38 fork review from about 5 YouTubers, all came out at the same time, and they're all saying they can hardly tell the difference. Might be a little more supple in the like mid stroke, might be a little more supple off the top, but if you're riding a bike with a 38, you're usually riding pretty hard, and I think you're always riding in the mid stroke anyway, So I don't think much has changed on these bikes, which is good because I don't have the desire to buy a new one. And, there's really nothing out there I really, really want. I've got one of each. I've got a trail bike and a short trail bike and a XC bike and a downhill bike. I've got a bike for everything I want to do. I've got a little dirt jumper for the bike parks. Those are super fun. But nothing has really changed. What has changed is the e-bike scene has taken off, and that's been the focus of the industry. And honestly, I don't think there's going to be able to make much improvements on regular analog mountain bikes from here on out. The geometry changes are so small, I don't even notice it anymore. And the e-bike thing has now become a power race. That's really, who are they marketing this to? They're marketing to noobs because they need new money in the sport. That's what they're doing. And so, they're kind of whoring it out a bit, aren't they? I'd say so. But, now we've got the 32-inch wheels. Yeah, they're going to be faster. If you're XC racing, it's probably going to be on every bike by mid-season, at least on the front wheel. So the industry is resorting to sort of gimmicky stuff now, more powerful motors. Everybody and their mother's got a little tire inflator now for $100. There's really been no significant innovation in about 6 or 7 years, really. So, and in this time I've watched this, I've just every year comes around, I look at my bikes, I'm like, well, don't really need to change them. They're still just as good as what's coming out. And I get to get a long-term study on my chain lube on each one in the conditions they're run in, and that's what I've been focusing on anyway. And then I have the previous fleet of aluminum bikes. I still have them. I don't ride them. They just sit there. Once in a while, I'll take out my SB95 for fun. I do love that bike, but and those are all 10-speed. That whole crew is 10-speed. That quiver, and I've got the new quiver of bikes that's all carbon. Except for my dirt jumper is aluminum. But yeah, it's an industry that is focusing on ways to just get money out of you and trying to hype you up with something new and awesome and everything. And if you want a new bike, go get a new bike. Nothing wrong with that, especially if they get a few years old. But my goal with this chain lube is to make the bike you're on last as long as possible with your drivetrain, because that's the most expensive part to replace. You wear out your grips, $30. You wear out your tires, $50. You wear out your drivetrain, it could be $1,000 easily. And if you do it 3 times a year, it gets really expensive, even if it is only a $500 drivetrain. All right, so that's the Chainwax Podcast. Forget what episode we're up to. Do me a big favor and go buy a T-shirt for me. I'll leave the link below. I'm not making any money on them. I just want to see people wearing them so people can start talking about the product. I think they're about $16, and there's direct from the printful.com. It's a really good quality shirt. And if you could leave a like and a subscribe, that would be great as well. It really helps with the algorithm. I think I got about 50 people watching so far. That's about it, but I am getting a lot more views on Spotify, thankfully. So somehow, I don't know. And I've subscribed to Loam Wolf on Spotify, so I can listen to him in the car too. He's got a podcast on there as well. So the guy who did the reviews, he did a great review of the Darkmatter and the 5311. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks again, John from the Chainwax Podcast, Mountain Biker Products. Try our chain prep formula. If you're a bike shop, try this to convert your chains over, get rid of that mess, save the environment, save your lungs, and don't have any chemicals absorbing in your skin. And I'll talk to you guys.